What's up YouTube? Today I'm going to be showing you how to document your REST web services using what is called the Swagger. So here I have a very simple hello world REST web service, and there's a Spring REST controller class I've written which is which has a URL of /hello, and it takes a parameter of /name, and it returns the concatenation of the two things. So let's say hello and say hello YouTube. So let's try it out, and there you go. Hello YouTube is a response that we've got from the controller class. The next thing that here's a pom.xml. I'm basically using Spring 4.2.5, which is the latest Spring release as of now. So that's the one which I'm using. Uh, to configure Swagger into our project, we need to add these two dependencies. I mean, not necessarily two, but yes, the one which is for the Swagger, which is provided by Spring Fox, and the other one is basically to Jackson data mine the JSON response. I mean, and that's the dependency for that. So yes, we have added these two, and the next thing that we'll be doing is we'll be configuring the bean, the Swagger configuration bean in the Spring Servlet, the Spring REST Servlet.xml, and here you go. I paste it out here. So we've given an ID of Swagger2 config, and which is from the class Swagger2 documentation configuration. So that is what we need to add, so that our application, our Spring application, recognizes this as Swagger configuration. And so the next thing that we can be doing is to annotate our REST controller class. So basically we can be using the @API annotation. There are whole sort of annotations that we can use to document our methods or the request mapping methods and all. So that API is one used to document our REST controller class. And the project has been redeployed. So I am seeing an error over here, which basically says that I'm using an XSD which is older than the Spring version that I'm using. So basically, I think I need to change the XSD versions. Say I've changed them to 4.2, and the error seems to have gone now. So that's good. That's all right. Now let's test our application. It's hello YouTube. So basically, the URL that we'll be using is v2/api-docs. So this is the basic URL that you'll be using to get the JSON response of your Swagger documentation of the REST web service. All right, and yeah, so okay, what's going on? Yeah, so yeah, so here is our test URL v2 API docs, and here is the JSON documentation. Okay, I don't really get what exactly. Yeah, so basically I've used the hello world controller description for our controller class, and I think I see it out here. So that's fine. Now I think we should configure it using the Swagger UI. So let's add in a dependency to include the Swagger UI, so that we can so that it's much more user friendly, and we'll be able to recognize what exactly is the documentation about. I mean, who wants a JSON, right? And obviously we have to map the resources, the Swagger UI HTML. And so let's just go to the servlet .xml and paste this over here. Paste the resources mapping and the location, corresponding location. So Swagger UI.html is the HTML that Swagger provides basically, and that is the HTML we'll be using to see the documentation of our web service. So yes, that's pretty much it, and these are the two resources that we have added to our servlet.xml. Now let's just wait for it to validate, and yeah, so if, the validation seems to be completed, and let's try it out. Let's see if this works. Swagger UI.html. So oops, what's wrong? Swagger completed. All right, so basically I think we have to add this MVC default servlet handler. So basically this is used so that the requests are handed over to the Spring REST controller which we have defined. I think this should work now. Okay, so let's just wait for the validation to get completed. Now we'll head over to the browser and type swaggerui.html. I think it should work now. Yes, so there you go. Online store. Yes, my bad. I've documented it incorrectly. So get is the only method that we have. The default is get, obviously. So you can go to the Swagger IO website for further documentation on the annotations being used, and just you can just browse through. So I think there are quite a number of websites which will tell you what are the annotations which will be used. I just wanted to show you guys how to configure this one since there were no tutorials on YouTube. So yes, see you around.